And how much money have you made in the last 2 months?
Well, this month alone, I think I'm already around about the 9K mark.
What one piece of advice would you give to someone that is maybe in the position you were, let's say, 6 or 12 months ago?
So for me, if you're going for a funding, whether it's FTMR, whoever it is.
Hey guys, today I'm joined by funded trader Steve, who has recently become funded twice over in the last month or less and achieved payout status. And what we'll be doing is talking to Steve about what recently has changed and what has happened to get this level of success recently. So, hey Steve, thanks for joining me on the call today. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, Scott. Nice to be back.
Excellent. Yeah, we did an interview about this time last year when you had some recent success, and we're back here again with even more of that success. And we're here to share a lot of that backstory and what your background is. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about what's happened in recent months and what has changed, if anything, to get you this level of success, and to maybe talk about mindset as well as technicals, and just share as much value as possible to the audience. So just give a brief introduction of yourself, where you're from, like, do you work, do you have kids, how long have you been trading for?
Yeah, so I live down in London. I do work a 9 to 5 job. I've got 2 kids, 7 and 3, so they can be testing. And yeah, I've been trading for about 5 to 6 years now.
Awesome. Excellent. Yeah, those ages are challenging. I've got pretty much the same age. So I know what it's like. It can be a juggle. Those watching that have young kids and are aspiring traders, it can be tough, especially in the mornings, right?
Mornings and evenings are the worst, mate.
I think you said you missed a trade this morning. You were on the school run.
Exactly, yeah, nice little long this morning, but
Yeah,
it's part and parcel, really, isn't it? You're not going to catch every trade.
happens. Absolutely. And so you started trading about 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, so it's kind of the standard thing that most people get into. You see it on Instagram, people selling signals. So I thought I'd join one, then you hop around different people. And I think it really set in during lockdown when I had the basic knowledge of trading, but I came into learning in it during lockdown. So you could say, 3, 4 years when I've really been focusing on trading. But yeah, signals was the first introduction to trading for me.
So that was the first year, like hoping to get rich quick,
Oh
probably
yeah.
lured in with marketing and then into signal groups,
Yeah, flipping accounts within a week, all that's just nonsense, really.
flipping it in the opposite direction to the way should have been.
Yeah, I lost, to be honest, I lost a lot of money, but it taught me that signals aren't the way forward. You need to learn the industry, you need to learn everything inside out, because those providers aren't always going to be there. So that was a key driver to learn how to trade. And yeah, like I said, in COVID, it was a prime opportunity to learn.
So it's like becoming like learning that you have to become self-sufficient. So
Yeah.
whether those signals work or not, because sometimes they do, but you still, like, that person could just stop posting signals one day and then you've got nothing to copy. So it's about longevity. It might take years rather than weeks to be able to learn the skill yourself, but then you've got it for life, right?
Yeah, and it's basically, if I wanted to make an income on trading, I don't want to do an income based on someone else sending me signals. Like I said, it needs to be down to myself to be able to understand it and wake up in the morning knowing that I've analysed the market correctly, not someone posting sell or buy gold, for example. It just wasn't sustainable, really.
Absolutely. So other than the experiences of going through signal services, and you've probably been with other educators before, in the last 12 months, what would you say has been the biggest challenge for you?
The biggest challenge is making a name for myself in the industry, being able to turn around and say to people, I'm a trader. I'm not just a six-figure trader. I'm actually profiting from the market month in, month out. Um, so hopping around different communities is a good thing, but it's also a negative thing, because you're swapping and changing strategies every 6 months when you just need to focus solely on one community, one strategy. You tweak it there and then, but if you stick to the one strategy, then you will become profitable over time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And you've been with us for over a year, right? And we speak quite a lot, like more than anyone else in the community. I probably speak to you more than anyone else, to be honest.
It's a bad thing, isn't it?
But that's good. Like, I love that because, I want every student to obviously be successful, but even if everyone's in the same community, as a percentage, we know that the stats are against the trader, but it's not necessarily the strategy. Maybe some people just haven't got it in them as much. Maybe their lifestyle is too hectic. Maybe their mindset's not right. Maybe they procrastinate, don't put as much effort in as other people. But those students like yourself that always show up every day and always asking questions are the ones that will achieve the most. Absolutely. And you're testament to that. On that topic, like, what would you say is your opinion on very fixed, like highly, almost 100% mechanical trading systems? What's the pros and cons to that? And how do you look at the markets now? Like, what percentage is mechanical, would you say, on what is discretional?
Yes, it's good trading mechanical, but I wouldn't say trading it 100% is the correct way. Yes, it keeps you in line. You've got your trading plan, but obviously you need to tweak it because the market changes all the time. So tweaking a few things here and there, for me personally, over the last few months of speaking to you, doing the odd few tweaks has dramatically improved my trading. Mechanical, yes, probably about 80, 85%, but then the technical side has to come into it as well. And beforehand, I was probably 100% mechanical, being conservative with taking trades. Yes, it was getting me places because obviously I secured the 20K account, but then the market shifted. I still stayed mechanical 100% and it didn't work. And obviously after discussion with you, took some advice from you, tweaked a few things here and there. And the last 2 months, it's just been a complete game changer.
So a lot of it is down to the market you trade, isn't it? So
Yeah.
maybe only 3, 4 months ago, were you trading solely EU?
EU's been the one and only, literally from when I started learning to trade to probably about 2, 3 months ago. And as we all know, EU is very range bound. So that's when we decided, well, inside the community, that we added some indices to the kind of watch list. And those indices, like I said, completely changed my trading.
Yeah, even without initially changing anything about the strategy, it's just finding the right market conditions can excel that performance. Like the way that you've got funded twice over in a month, you wouldn't have done that just trading EU, but you traded exactly the same strategy pretty much on an indices, and you've got funded twice and reached payout. So it shows that it's not always the strategy, but a lot of the time it's the market conditions, right? And it's knowing when to stay in the market, when to stay out the market, building a watch list, and which ones to prioritize, right? And knowing when to trade, not to trade. That, would you agree, is the discretionary side? The technical side is still like the 80, 85% mechanics. And I would agree. I would say the way I trade is probably 85% mechanical and then 15% discretionary. And for me, the discretion is, okay, we've taken a 4 hour high. Okay, we've had a 15-minute sweep. Okay, we're in kill zone. However, I don't like the nature of price, the way that it's range bound. I look at the higher time frame. It's not as clear, so I'm going to sit on my hands. That's the discretion. It's almost like opting which market to trade and which to trade, right? Is that a similar way that you look at it?
Yeah, because I've got 3 pairs on my watch list. I don't really look at EU because at the moment it's just confusing as anything. But obviously, when I analyze the market on both the indices that I trade, I don't so I don't wake up in the morning expecting to trade. Like the yesterday sell that I caught, I didn't expect to get into that trade. I analyzed the market expecting a certain area to be hit, which it did. But it goes back to not having a perception of coming to the market every single day expecting to trade. Because if you do, that's when FOMO kicks in and you're usually on a down spiral. So yeah, discretionary is key because like you said, if the market is going up and you want to sell, you've got to understand you're going to be catching a falling knife depending. That's when you look at the high time frame. But it's just taking your time and not just jumping into a trade because you think that it's going in the direction that you want it to go.
I like that. I like the fact that you mentioned the discretion. It sounds like more psychology because you've got your technical rules. That's your system. You look at the daily tick points, you look at the 4 hour tick points, and then when that's ready, you look at the 15-minute for entry. That is very mechanical. And then the discretion comes into it where, okay, do I expect to be in a trade today? No. Do I expect my outlook to play out? Well, yeah, otherwise I wouldn't have outlined that as my outlook. If I'm not confident in my outlook, then I shouldn't be trading it, right? So you expect a key level. Let's say we're trading in a bullish market and we're close to a 4 hour high. The expectation is the likeliness of that 4 hour high to be ran is quite high, but you're not expecting there to be an opportunity that day. I like that. So you just sit on your hands, you wait for a quality setup to meet your rules, and that's when you execute.
Yeah, exactly. And one point to add on, when I switched over from EU to the indices, it wasn't like a quick straight over swap the next day. It was testing 12 months on both pairs to get the results, and then taking that into the live situation and then seeing those live accounts, because it's all well and good getting 15, 20, 30% back testing, but it's when the live comes in. Like this morning, I missed out on the long because you're taking the kids to school. Day-to-day life gets in the way, but back testing, you can back test a week in the space of 20 minutes. So it's completely different. So you have to do your back testing before you swapping over to any sort of pairs.
Absolutely. It's the proof of concept initially, isn't it? And then you could say, okay, if I'm averaging 10% a month, hypothetically, in a 12-month sample size, know that real life gets in the way. And you're probably better off reducing that by 25, 30% because you're going to miss the odd trade. Or you might feel slightly emotional one day and just not want to trade. You might be ill, you might be traveling. There's so many variables, but in a backtesting scenario, of course, you take them all because it's there. I like that. So let's talk about like the recent successes. So you've managed to get funded twice. Who are they with FTMO?
Yeah, 2 of FTMO, yeah.
Yeah, and what account size are they?
Both 70Ks.
Both 70Ks. Well done. And it seems like yesterday we were speaking about you were in the challenge in the first one, and then a string of messages over like 2 or 3 days from Steve, like, "Oh, I've passed the challenge." I think the verification you passed in a matter of days, didn't you?
I think the first 70K one, I think I passed the verification in 2 days. And then, I then got the payout or the refund I got. I then took another 70K with FTMO, and I think I passed both the challenge and verification in the space of 2 weeks. I didn't rush it, no matter at all, because I always say 2 to 3 months to pass a challenge and verification is ideal. But because of the market conditions, you're in a bullish asset or bearish, you take those opportunities. And what we've been trading has just been, it's been gold mine. So
Market conditions again, isn't it?
Exactly. Trending markets are always going to pay you at the end of the day. Not ranging markets will depend on your strategy, but because our strategy, it suits trending markets, and it's just proved that in the space of a month, 6 weeks, how quickly you can transform your trading from, okay, I was a funded trader, but I was in drawdown, but now I'm 140K funded in the space of 2-3 weeks.
Yeah. What would you say 2 things that has changed, whether it's technically something's changed, has your risk management changed? What's changed in the last kind of 2 months for you to get this recent success?
My risk has changed somewhat, but obviously when we've tweaked a few things inside the community, taking those conservative trades weren't really paying off. So you're taking the high risk trades, but obviously with higher returns. So for example, having a 4-hour liquidity and then trading based off of that has obviously I've done my extensive back testing on that. And since we've implemented that with obviously advice from you and the guys at Evolution Market, it's changed the last 4 to 6 weeks. Having that 4-hour liquidity pool, taking trades off of that, it's because you could just bounce from one liquidity pool to another, and that's what we've been doing. And for me personally, I've also been doing that, and that's what's catapulted my trading over the last 6 weeks.
Would you say that highlighting that 4-hour high and low, which we essentially do every morning, right? We say, okay, we've got a 4-hour high here, we've got a 4-hour low here. Price is going to reach either one or both of these at some stage. Using our strategy, our simple rule-based strategy, we expect either the high to go first or the low. And that's when we look at our bias. Of course, we use the daily as well. And then we look at 15-minute for entry. Would you say that it's actually not only increased the profitability as you're trading, but does it also make you feel more relaxed because you're essentially setting an alert on a 4-hour high or low and then walking off?
Yeah, I'm a lot more relaxed about my trading. I'm enjoying it more now purely because of I know where to target. Beforehand, I was targeting 2%, 1 to 2. But as we know, it can be difficult having that sort of 2% per trade and having the longevity of it. So targeting the 4-hour liquidity pool, yes, I've profited more, but I've not had to sit at the chart because I've got my set targets. I know roughly the 4-hour low is going to be hit or the 4-hour high is going to be hit. I know based on the market and how I've judged the market conditions. So that in itself, going from a 2% per trade to targeting the 4-hour lows or highs, it's a game changer, mate. Honestly, it is.
Yeah. And just sometimes we'll find that we'll maybe get into a break even position,
Mm.
whereas before we would have taken a 2 to 1. But then when you take a 4 or 5 to 1, you realize that you've made up that profits, and actually you can get away with a 40% win rate and still be profitable. Whereas if you are fixed 2 to 1 all the time, you find you have to have likely 50, 60% win rate to see these kind of profits. And that's exactly why you've not only got funded once, but you got funded twice. That's 2 challenges, 2 verifications in the space of less than 5 weeks, and then traded them live. And how much money have you made in the last 2 months?
Well, this month alone, I think I'm already around about the 9K mark already this month.
70K account.
Yeah. I mean, one of the trades I think it was last week or the week before, I sold into a 4-hour liquidity pool. And I think there was red news, but it wasn't restricted with
Yeah.
FTMO. And as soon as I TP to sell, I then put a buy order on, and it went to literally to the next high. I think it was like 10 or 11%.
Yeah.
Obviously, I cut that short because obviously I didn't need to be greedy. But it just goes to show you target those liquidity pools. You can sell, buy, sell all day long.
That's like we said earlier, like the mechanics is the system, the outlook and the entry, and then the discretion is like your trade management, whether you want to take the trade or not,
Mm.
and whether you want to exit at that point. So you took like 2.5, 3.5% instead of leaving it to 9, but you were at a point where I don't need to be greedy. So I'm happy to exit the position now, knowing that I've made money from the markets and there's always going to be another tomorrow.
Exactly. And it's always good to know that my analysis did actually pay off and it did go on to create a new high. Well, took out the 4-hour high to the left. So it's good to know that your analysis pays off as well, but
Mhm.
so good to take payouts.
And that's what gives you that confidence. Again, it's the proof of concept that originally starts from back testing, but then when you see the proof of concept in your own live trading, it gives you that confidence to do two things, doesn't it? It gives you the confidence to know when, again, to not trade a market that's not clean or clear and conserve your risk and wait for better conditions, and then know when to put your risk on the table and actually execute on a position. Just like you mentioned, when you sold, hit TP, within 15 minutes, you were in a buy immediately. So that's incredible. So what are your goals going forward? What are you aiming for now?
I'd like to see if I can hit 500K by the end of the year. That's a massive goal for me. And seeing if I can do 6 figures a month. Um, Obviously the biggest one there is getting consistent payouts because, I wanted to take another challenge this month, but I said no. And my other half said to me, what's the point in taking all these challenges, being a 6, 7 figure trader, but not actually drawing money from the markets? And she's got a valid point. So that's why I thought I'd take a step back, don't take any challenges or verifications this month and just trade the live accounts. And it is paid off. I don't need to, at this moment, go for another challenge because I'm extracting physical money from the market, which could be life changing. I
Yeah.
know there are only 4 accounts, but like we said before, 200K account, 4%. I mean, you can't ask more than that, can you?
That's it. You're doing things the right way. You've worked on the foundation, you've worked on your psychology, your routines, your discipline, then you worked on your technicals, and you got to a point where all of that is in alignment. Then you started off on funding challenges, relatively small accounts like 20K, then 70K. Now it's not a matter of skill, it's a matter of capital. So you're getting a few payouts under your belt, which basically, because you work full time, so you're not having to rely on trading for paying for your lifestyle, which is great. But it means that you can use or allocate some of that payout income for future challenges. So essentially, you could buy 10 challenges now and it'd all be risk free because you've extracted that money from the market, and you could easily get yourself to 4 or 500K in funding. And then, like you say, 3 or 4% a month, and you're laughing. So it's going to be a game changer. It already is.
Yeah, it is. And don't get me wrong, this hasn't happened overnight. So I don't want people thinking, oh, he's made all this money out. This is hard work over 4 or 5 years, the late nights, the early mornings, you know, and now I'm actually seeing it. Okay, it's only a couple of months, but I'm actually seeing if I stay consistent, I will see profitable months for the foreseeable. But it has been a long journey, a stressful journey. And that's why they say I think it's only 1% make it in the industry because it's so stressful on you. And the market can spit you up and chew you out whenever they want, really.
Like they say, it's the ones that don't give up that eventually succeed. And you've been in evolution markets for over a year, and you've seen some success and challenges and success and challenges. And that's the natural progress. That's the natural journey. But now, and like you say, it's only a couple of months, but the way that you're trading is incredible. It's almost like a light bulb has been switched on. And I can see how the way you're talking as well, it's the confidence. Before I've published my outlook, you're showing me your outlook, and it's the same as mine. So everything's aligning, and it's because you've not given up. It's because you've not veered away from change and improvement and refinements. You've not put your ego first. You remained an open book. And this is why you're seeing this level of success, which is incredible to see. And this is exactly why I do this, to see smiles on faces and messages that I've been getting. It's incredible. It's exactly why we do this. What would you say, like leaving those that are watching the video right now, what one piece of advice would you give to someone that is maybe in the position you were, let's say 6 or 12 months ago, and they feel like they're showing up every day. They feel like they're doing their outlooks, they're trading, they're back testing, and they're just not seeing the results yet. One piece of advice that you'd give to them.
So for me, if you're going for a funding, whether it's FTMO, whoever it is, don't put it on a pedestal, because that's exactly what I did, and you will fall short because, you know, there's no need to rush into these challenges. Most of them are no time limit. So you don't need to get 10%, 20% in a week. Whatever community you're in, you just have to just go with it. Don't quit. Keep going, you know, or if you're still unstuck with that community, you know, join us at Evolution Market. That's what I did. I messaged you on Instagram when the first Power 2 came out. And I think that the first week you had a winner every single day. And then since joining you, it's completely changed. So you've got to figure out the community, whether you take signals. Is that best for you? Is that best for your lifestyle? Is trading the 1 minute best for your lifestyle? It wasn't for me, not with working and having kids. So maybe look at a community that suits your lifestyle and just run with it. Stop changing strategies. Work hard, do your late nights, your weekends, you know, don't go out drinking, spending hundreds and hundreds of pounds on whatever, where you could spend a couple of £100 on the funded account. Trade it slowly with patience, and the rewards will be life-changing.
That's awesome. Sound advice. Excellent. And it's been incredible having you on again. I've enjoyed this. It's been long overdue, and I'm sure it won't be the last one. It's just the second of a long list of interviews. I think this one, I can see it come in.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, without you guys, this would not have been possible. So yeah, thanks for the bottom of my heart. You know, all the time. I know I pester you every day, and it's good to know that you need to ask questions. You know, it's a soul game. It can be boring all on your own. So if you're trying to do it on your own, it's not going to work. You need to get into a community with like-minded traders. The more questions you ask, you will get the rewards at the end of it. It's simple as that.
Absolutely. I keep saying that, don't I? Every live call, like it doesn't matter if you're in our community or with another mentor, just stick with them and make sure that you're not suffering in silence. Ask questions. Doesn't matter how small the question may seem, or if you feel stupid, just ask the damn question, because you don't know if that answer is going to be pivotal in your trading journey. And a lot of the times it's just the smallest thing that makes a big difference, right? But awesome. Yeah, appreciate you, man. Thanks for being on. And those that are watching, post a comment below and let Steve know congratulations on his recent success, and also what's been the biggest key takeaway that Steve shared from this video. And we'll see you on the next one.
See ya.
Awesome, man.